Splendid.
That's much better, dear, but you ought to spend a little more time on that passage.
Well, I can't practice any more today, Mom. Gotta go to the doctor's place. What do you want done today, sir?
Well, let me see. I think the head needs clipping.
Well, I did that day before yesterday.
Well, we might give it a polish. You know, spiccato with no stops.
Okay.
Let's have a look at that forehead. It's coming along all right.
Guess I'll have to make a rule. No more walking on picket fences.
Yeah, or else buy him a football helmet.
You certainly work hard thinking up things for him to do.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Thank you. Oh, you angel. More Pirelli records. Oh.
Well, he seems to be your pet conductor.
He's the best in the world, I think. Let's play them, shall we?
Sure.
No one can inspire an orchestra the way he can. Sweet of you. But you shouldn't spend money on me like this.
Oh, don't be silly. There ought to be a half a dozen men spending money on you. I wish you'd throw this thing away and give some other man a chance.
Am I by any chance getting a proposal?
I wish you were, but I'm too old, worse luck. Oh, but seriously, Mary, you ought to have a man to look after you.
Perhaps I will someday if I ever find a man as fascinating as John. Handsome fellow in those days, wasn't he? That was taken in Paris a week after we met.
And signed with all my love. A fast worker, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Whirlwind courtship, whirlwind marriage, and 12 years of repentance.
But you never stopped loving him.
No.
I don't know why it is that women always seem to cherish the men who've been unfaithful to them.
I'm not sure now that he was. It was such a shock to me at the time. I was very young and idealistic.
And impulsive.
Oh, dreadfully. And before I had time to think, I'd run away to America, divorced him, hidden away here. And then discovered I was going to have Billy.
Well, if a woman is going to walk out on a man like that, at least she ought to forget him.
A woman doesn't forget a man like John Pierce.
And if you ask me, a man doesn't forget a woman like Mary Stanley.
I hope for his sake that's not true.
Look out! You're flooding it. All right, you know so much, you started. Not me. He's afraid he'll get his hands dirty. I am not. Oh, yeah? I'll tell my mother on you. Clarence is a snitcher. Clarence is a snitcher. Hi, Billy. Hello. My plane won't go. Come on and fix it. Can't. Gotta work. All right. Then I'll let Red fix it.
Go ahead. See if I care.
It's not getting a gas.
Sounds like the condenser to me.
Retard the spark. That's just a point.
Maybe you got a loose ground connection.
Look at the ground. It ain't the ground. I guess Billy knows. Sure, Billy knows everything.
Give me that. I told you it was a ground connection.
You see?
I see you, Billy Stanley. You come right here this very minute.
Gee whiz.
No, I'm going.
You're not either.
It was my plane.
Yeah, but I flew it.
I don't care. I asked you to.
You do what I say or I'll never fix your old plane again.
Now, see here, young man. I've had enough of this.
Yes, sir?
That's the 4th window that's been broken this summer, and it's got to stop. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Well, what's all the shooting for this time?
I just broke the window with this.
Yes, and this time he's got to pay for it.
I thought you were clipping the hedge.
Well, I was, but I stopped. For just a minute.
I just wonder if you weren't taking in a little too much territory.
Huh?
Now, if you put the rudder a little more to the left, wouldn't it fly in a tighter circle and land right back on the field?
Gee, that's right.
I don't like to interrupt your scientific observations, Doctor, but who's going to pay for the window?
Oh, yes, yeah. That's right. Let me see, one pane of glass. That's about 5 cents, isn't it?
20 cents?
As much as that? Well, of course, we'll have to take it out of Billy's wages at the rate of about 5 cents a week. Oh, by the way, it's payday, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Oh. I've only got a quarter. Afraid I can't make change. We'll start the deductions next week.
I can make the change, Doctor. Here's a couple of dimes. You'd only get a nickel if I had my way.
I guess you'll remember by that left rudder the next time.
I sure will.
Mrs. Stanley.
Well, Johnny,
I got all the notes right, didn't I?
letter perfect. But there's a great deal more to music than just striking the right notes. Why are you always in such a hurry?
Well, I got to play football.
Johnny, why do you go on taking music lessons?
Because my pop says I got to be an orchestra leader like Kay Kaiser. He says they make good money. Better than a truck driver, even.
But you'd much rather be a truck driver, wouldn't you? Honestly.
Sure. Who wouldn't? One of them big diesels.
Then I wish you'd tell your father that I can't go on taking his money. Because you'll never make a violinist, much less an orchestra leader.
Do you mean that, Mrs. Stanley?
I regret to say I do.
Gee, that's super! Sorry, Mom. 5-cent shy today.
Meaning one soda.
No, busted window. Mrs. Hastings made him doubt me that much a week.
Well, I don't suppose that'll break us. Though every nickel counts just now.
I know. Say, Mom, why can't I get a job in a dance orchestra someplace where I might earn as much as $15 a week?
We're aiming much higher than that, darling. Billy, dear, I believe you can become a really fine concert artist.
Me? A concert artist?
Yes. But first I have to get you to Chicago or Cleveland or New York for an audition. And that takes money.
New York? Just wait till I tell Nancy. I'll bet she'll mind me now.
I doubt it. But it means hard work this summer, Billy. At least 8 hours practice a day.
Yeah, I suppose so. Life can sure be tough, can't it, Mom?
You bet it can. But it can be splendid, too, with something like this to live for.
That was Mrs. Mitchell. Clarence has got another sore throat.
Really?
She said you must fix him up so we can go to Mrs. Higby's musical this afternoon.
Is that today?
4th Sunday in the month. And you needn't look like that. You can't get out of going.
Why do I have to listen to her pupils?
Because you brought them all into the world, and their fathers and mothers expect it.
I'm supposed to do.
And you got to see Mrs. Bailey. She says her feet are bad again.
Sometimes I wish they'd taken up plumbing.
Don't know as you'd have any more fun mending bathrooms. Here. Better take these along. Looks like rain.
We'll have a bed just like that. Just like Marie Antoinette.
No, that's too fancy.
It is not.
I wouldn't have a thing like that in my room.
Look here, Billy Stanley. You've got to let the woman furnish the house or our engagement is off.
Well, I guess if the man earns the money, he ought to have some say.
He ought not.
Well, I heard Dr. Christian say the man ought to wear the pants in the family.
Yeah? Well, Dr. Christian is old-fashioned. We've got equal rights for women. Haven't you ever heard of the 19th Amendment?
Oh, give me the funnies. I want to see how Dick Tracy gets out of that concrete mixer.
Nancy, darling. Yes, Mother.
Oh, hello, Billy. Oh, Nancy, darling, Mother wants you to get the music out of the secretary and be sure to keep it in the right order.
Say, Mom, why don't you ever let Billy play any of these Sunday things of yours?
Well, it isn't that, well, it's just that you're such a very little girl, you wouldn't understand.
Snitcher Clarence is going to play this on his sax.
I bet that'll be good.
Well, they even got Clarence in the funny papers. Give me that.
Oh, I'm so glad that you could come this afternoon. We wouldn't have missed it for anything. It's simply lovely. And you, my dears, I'm so happy to see you. And darling Clarence, how does your throat feel?
Oh, it's all right now.
My dear Mrs. Higbee, what do you think Dr. Christian prescribed for Clarence's sore throat? Dirt.
Oh, hello, Dr. Christian. I'm so happy to see you here. And my dear Mrs. Stanley, I'm afraid you may not consider my little concert up to your critical standard. But in the matter of music, we hope that quantity will make up for quality.
I'm sure it will.
I am so glad to see you all here this afternoon. And I am so happy to think that perhaps these monthly recitals add at least a little to the cultural tone of our city. And now, we will open the program this afternoon with a violin solo by my newest pupil, and one whom I am sure you will agree with me shows great promise, Johnny Bates.
I thought Johnny was one of your pupils.
He was.
Why did he leave you?
I advised him to give up music.
Maybe you were right.
And friends, if you will pardon me for saying so, we now come to the pièce de résistance of our little soirée. A saxophone solo by darling little Clarence Mitchell. Well, of all things. A little unfortunate circumstance has arisen, but we shall continue. We'll just skip that part, darling, and pick it up from the top of the next page.
$15.2, 4 and a pair of 6. My crib. Somebody in trouble?
Sounds like it.
You'll need more field than that. Better call Dr. Christian.
Where? The landing field. All right, I'll call him right away.
Landing field? I'll go right out.
This is Dr. Christian.
How do you do?
The patient's a very important man. Are you competent?
Well, I've had considerable experience.
Good. I must get the maestro to Chicago as quickly as possible. There's an important contract.
The maestro.
The great Antoine Pirelli, sir.
Antoine Pirelli. Well, we can't have anything happen to him. He's our favorite conductor here, boss.
I don't think I'm badly hurt, Doctor. Just shaken up a bit.
Can you sit up a minute?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
What's the answer, Doctor? I'm all right, Mickey. Arranged for accommodations on the next train.
I'm afraid you'll have to postpone the trip.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Well, I don't think there's anything serious, but I'd like to keep him under observation for a day or so.
Possible. We must get on to Chicago. I'm quite well enough to travel.
You better sit down.
Hey. But, Maestro, the doctor is right. You are hurt. Quite badly, I think. Think of the headlines I shall get in every paper in the country. Worth thousands to us. Flying Maestro crashes. Is there a decent hotel, Doctor?
We think so.
Good. We'll take the largest suite. There'll be flowers all over the place and nurses. And the newsreel cameramen will come and find the Maestro with a beautiful bandage on his head.
There'll be at least one nurse. River's End 7-9.
And, Doctor, about that nurse, please. One who photographs well. No old battle axes.
I think you'll find her quite satisfactory. Hello, Mary.
Give me a hand, will you?
Sure.
But, Doctor, isn't Judy available?
Well, Judy is still on her vacation, and Stella Carson only leaves in the daytime. Mm-hmm. You'd better come right to the hotel. Goodbye. This will make you sleep.
Thank you, Doctor.
And when you wake up, I think you're going to feel very much better.
Hello, Gladys. This is Mickey. I'm speaking from a little bird called River's End. I'm sorry to say we've had a slight accident. No, not bad, but there's a horse and buggy doctor here who sent Antoine to bed for a couple of days.
Well, if Antoine is hurt, I'm coming at once.
Oh, it's nothing serious. But I just called to warn you not to believe anything you read in the papers. It's just a little ballyhoo. And tell your father and the broadcasting people that we'll be a couple of days late for rehearsal.
Hello, Mary.
Hello.
I hope you're feeling quite fit.
Of course. What is it, Doctor?
Slight concussion. He's sleeping under a sedative now.
I know you meant it kindly, but I can't take this case, Doctor.
Why not?
Don't you see it? It's Billy. John must have 1,000 other interests by this time. I don't know how he feels about me now.
You can't, Mary, unless you try to find out.
But he'd find out about Billy. That's one secret I couldn't keep. And then he could take him away.
No court would do that after all these years.
I know, but Billy's musical career, John could sponsor it. He's got the power and the money to do it. I couldn't stop him once he'd found out. And then I might lose my son.
Listen, Mary. I can't let you throw this chance away. For your sake or for Billy's. You did a foolish thing once in Paris. Perhaps now you could right that wrong.
I can't risk it. I can't.
Aren't you thinking only of yourself?
I'll find some other way to get Billy started. Some way that will let me keep him.
Perhaps you can. But a man like Pirelli has a right to know his own son. Think how much it would mean to Pirelli to give the world a son with such talent. And think how much faster and further Billy could go with his father behind him. You can't consider only yourself now. You know you can't.
But don't you see? Billy means so much to me. He's all I have.
You kept a secret well about John Pearson, Antoine Pirelli. Even from Billy and from me. You can keep the secret about Billy from his father until you're sure that it's safe for you to tell. And if he still loves you, think what you might be throwing away.
Mrs. Bates, have Johnny get up, put on a Sunday suit, and come to me at once. With his violin.
Good morning, nurse.
Pardon me. I must have fallen asleep.
I beg your pardon. I'm the one that's been asleep. When did you come in?
I've been here all night.
I must speak to that doctor. His sedatives are much too effective. Would you open that blind little for me, please? You're just as beautiful as ever.
And you haven't changed a bit.
Ironical, isn't it? Looking back now.
We were so young. I was so...
Impulsive. Well, after all, you did divorce me by publication. Didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. But I suppose I deserved it.
Perhaps you'd better relax now.
How have you been getting on, Mary?
As well as could be expected. I have my work, and I find a certain amount of happiness in it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
I brought Miss Carson to relieve Mary. And by the look of things, it's about time. The patient looks better than the nurse this morning.
Then we have the nurse to thank for it.
You better go home and get some rest, Mary.
Am I well enough to have visitors today?
I think so. Might even take that bandage off today.
Dr. Christian, I'm not very familiar with the ethics of medicine, but is there anything in the code to prevent a nurse who is off duty from returning to the sick room as a visitor?
Well, in certain cases, I prescribe it.
You will come back soon?
Yes, John.
Did you tell him?
No, not yet.
Why not?
I'm not sure in my own mind yet.
Oh, now listen, Mary, it's about time you told him, don't you think so?
Mr. DeLancer will be down in just a moment, Mrs. Higby.
Thank you. Come along, children. Get out your instruments. Hurry along. Hurry along. I'd like to see Mr. Pirelli, please.
I'm sorry, I can't disturb Mr. Pirelli.
Why, Miss Martin. Mrs. Higby, you came all the way from Center City. Why not? I have just as much right. I think not. After all, Mr. Pirelli fell in River's End.
So these are the little musical aspirants, eh?
Are you Mr. Delancey?
Yes, I have the honor to serve the maestro as business manager.
Then you can arrange an audition. Yes, an audition? I have several pupils of exceptional promise. So have I.
Well, ladies, I'm sure your little charges are talented, but unfortunately, the maestro has had to make a rule. He cannot give auditions.
Oh, but surely just this once. Yes, just this once.
I'm sorry, ladies. The rule is never broken. Good day.
Well, we'll just have to go back home again, children. Yes, I suppose there's nothing else to do. Come on. No, Johnny. No.
But I thought you said we were going home.
We are not going home. Follow me, children. Mary Stanley, how like you to push your way in there.
Push my way in.
If he's agreed to give Billy an audition, I shall most certainly see that he hears my pupils, too.
There's been no mention of an audition. Mr. Pirelli is ill, and I'm the nurse.
I always said I should take up nursing. Now, children, this is the little piece that we all rehearsed together. Now, you may not know all of the notes so well, but we'll do the best we can. 1, 2, 3, begin.
For pity's sake, what's that?
Sounds to me like Mrs. Higby.
Who?
Our local musical impresario.
I understand, Doctor. That is what the Hepcats call a clam bake.
I'll try to stop it.
No violence, Doctor. Just give him one of your sleeping pills.
Is he listening?
Yes, intently.
Does he want us to go inside?
No, I couldn't allow it. You see, Mr. Pirelli has been quite ill. I wanted to rest.
But it would only take a minute.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Higby, but I must insist. Unless you leave at once, I cannot answer for the consequences.
All right, children. I guess we will go home.
Well, you can at least tell your parents that you've been hurt by the great Anton Pirelli.
Of course! Come on, children. Come along. It was fine.
Gee, Mom, what's going on around here this morning?
Why, dear?
Oh, you look sort of all shined up.
This may be a great day for us, Billy, darling.
Yeah? How?
I'm going to take you to the hotel with me. And maybe, I'm not quite certain, Antoine Pirelli will hear you play.
Well, I thought we'd get a trip to Chicago or New York for an audition.
But this is Antoine Pirelli. You should be thrilled.
Sure. I'm thrilled, all right. I guess you are, too. Maybe that's why you're happy and sort of beautiful.
Maybe before long, you'll know why I'm all shined up today. Now, you wait here, Billy, until I call you.
Okay, Mom.
And wish me luck, darling. So very much depends on these next few minutes.
All right. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Come in. You were a long time.
Not long for a woman, John.
Oh, Mary, it's good to hear your voice again.
Is it?
To think after searching all over the world for you. The doctor gives me a sleeping pill and I wake up and there you are, sitting beside me.
This morning you told me you were not quite happy.
Mary, darling, I haven't known a single happy hour. Not really happy since you left me.
I believe you, John. John, I have a favor to ask you.
You name it.
I have a very talented pupil.
Pupil?
Yes, with a touch of your genius. I'd like you to hear him play.
Oh, of course, but... Well, let's not talk of pupils and prodigies. We have ourselves to talk about. What?
He's downstairs right now. I'm Gladys McClellan. I telephoned you for a reservation.
Yes, Miss McClellan. You have Suite B right across from Mr. Pirelli.
Thank you.
Well, I must. But I warn you, I'm only doing it to humor you. And after that...
Darling, I see you're not too badly hurt.
Nothing serious?
That's the moment I got your call, and evidently I arrived just in time.
Gladys, this is Mary.
How do you do, my dear? Antoine is so devastating, isn't he? And a past master in the old continental custom of kissing the hand. But you mustn't take him too seriously. I've suspected him of having a number of these little excursions since we've met. But I'm going to marry the man in 2 weeks. So I think it's time he called a halt. And now, I'll take charge if you don't mind. I think I'll be much more soothing than a new and pretty face, won't I, darling? He's such a susceptible old pet.
Wait, Mary. I think you deserve an explanation.
Why, of course. But not now, darling. You're much too ill. And besides, I'm sure that this lady and I understand each other perfectly.
I'll call you later, Mary.
Now, really, Antoine, I've always suspected I couldn't trust you out of my sight. But to flirt like this with a little country girl.
That little country girl, as you call her, is the woman I married in Paris 12 years ago.
Darling, how very romantic. Did you tumble out of the sky by mental telepathy to find her here?
This is no matter for amusement.
I see. But, Antoine, pull yourself together. After all, you've become an important public figure, and for you to be thinking of a woman like that, why, she'd hardly grace your dinner table. Listen, darling, I know how upsetting it must be, but you've got your career to think of. And I think I deserve some consideration.
Please, Gladys, I know all that. I'm terribly sorry.
Then for my sake, let's get on to Chicago. You'll probably feel differently in a day or two, and if you don't...
Please, I'm much too confused. Later on, if you don't mind.
Did it work? You mean he isn't going to give us an audition?
No, dear. We're going home.
Never mind, Mom. We'll save up our money and have that audition in New York.
Yes, dear. Of course we will. You know, I'm not giving Antoine up without a rattling good fight.
I'm getting the 8-ounce gloves out myself.
Well, it's your next move. You won't talk to me.
You leave it to me, my dear. I haven't handled him 12 years for nothing. I know all the angles.
You better pick a good one.
Good morning, Maestro. Gladys told me you were better.
Yeah, I'm all right, Mickey.
Excellent, excellent. Now we'll miss only one day of rehearsal. I phoned for accommodations on the next train.
Well, you can cancel them.
What?
I suppose Gladys also told you about Mary.
Yes. It must have been sort of a shock. Old memories and all that. But a lot of champagne has flowed under the bridge, Maestro. And it's no good turning back. Besides, we're good businessmen. We can't jeopardize our contract.
Can't you think of anything besides business and contract?
Sure, but this is a chance of a lifetime. $200,000.
I don't care if it's $2 million. I promised Mary I'd listen to one of her pupils play the violin.
An audition? Well, I thought we settled that sort of thing years ago. Why, only this morning I chased 20 child prodigies out of the hotel lobby.
Don't you understand, Mickey? This concerns Mary. I promised her.
So, you promised to hear a kid play the fiddle. Well, what's that compared to your other obligations? What about me? What about Gladys? You promised to marry her.
That, I think, is something that concerns Gladys and me. Most important of all is that I promised myself something 12 years ago in Paris.
This, after all I've done for you.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Mickey, don't start that again.
Well, look what you are today. And look what you were when I found you in Paris. Plain John Pierce. A genius starving in an attic.
Oh, cut it, will you, please?
No, I won't. I invented Antoine Pirelli. I put you over on the American public. I made you headline stuff all over the world, and this is the way you repay me.
No good, Mickey. If you had anything but a money bag for a heart, you'd understand. Now, if you don't mind, take a little air, will you?
That's done it. This is the end. To think of the once great Michael J. Delancey playing second fiddle to a small-town music teacher. Send up a double brandy, quick.
Make it 2.
Make it 2.
I'd like to talk to Mrs. John Pierce. You got the number for me, please.
Oh, there's no Mrs. John Pierce in the directory, sir.
Really? But she lives here. She came here on my case last night.
Oh, that was Mrs. Stanley, sir.
Mrs. Stanley? Are you sure?
Yes, sir. She nurses for Dr. Christian.
Well, get her for me, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hello. Is this Mrs. Stanley's residence?
Yes, sir, this is Mrs. Stanley's house.
Can I speak with her, please?
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but my mother isn't here just now.
Did you say your mother?
Yes, sir, Mrs. Stanley is my mother, but she's gone out of town.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Billy. What are you doing around here?
Did you forget that this is your day off? No. I just thought... Well, Mother went out of town for a few days.
Out of town? Why?
I don't know. We went to the hotel for an audition, and pretty soon Mother came down looking awful sick, and we went home.
Well, didn't she give an explanation?
No. She just cried like anything and said she had to go away.
Well, you'd better stay here, Billy, until she returns.
Run along upstairs. Take the spare room.
Thanks.
It's all in the papers, Doctor.
I can't understand it. If you'd seen him with Mary just now...
Well, from what I hear, this Gladys McClellan usually gets what she wants.
Operator, give me the hotel. I want to speak to Mr. Pirelli, please. I see. Thank you. It checked out. Was she called?
Thought so. Well, I guess that finishes that.
Those are mighty good pancakes, Mrs. Hastings.
There you are, Doctor. Another of your medical theories shot full of holes. Who says the human stomach only holds 1 quart?
Well, when a fella gets a free meal, he ought to make the most of it.
That's right, Billy.
Yoo-hoo, Billy!
Sounds like Nancy.
Yeah.
Better hurry. Women hate to be kept waiting.
You bet they do. I know.
You'd better prescribe for yourself this morning. You didn't eat a thing. It's no use, Doctor. In spite of all your knowledge and medical research, you'll never know why a woman acts the way she does when she's in love.
I don't know what Mary was thinking about.
Thinking? Women don't think. They feel. They haven't got any brains. Just a few assorted emotions. And only about 3 of those.
The strongest being to protect her young.
That's number 1.
I suppose she thought it was the decent thing to do, to walk out like that.
Decent? When is a woman ever decent when she wants to fight for a man? That's emotion number 2.
Not much fighting, Mary. When the other woman showed up in the scene...
Other woman? There's always another woman. That's when the fight really gets going. That's number 3. Oh, no, Doctor. A man will never realize what makes the wheels go round in a woman until he's married to one and gets it beaten into his head with a rolling pin. Then he says he's misunderstood.
A boy like that has the right to know his own father. And a man like John Pierce has the right to know he has a son.
Well, why don't you stop worrying and do something about it? You're Billy's godfather.
So I am. How much money have I got in the bank?
Oh, about $136. And we need it all for bills.
It's not going to be used for bills.
Well, what are you going to do?
Gamble. For big stakes. Billy. Billy. Go home and put your Sunday suit on. We're going to Chicago.
Chicago? Me too?
No, dear, not this time. Maybe we'll bring you a present. What would you like?
A new slingshot.
Run home and pack a bag. Know how?
Of course he doesn't. I'll have to do it for him. Come on, you.
Northern Broadcasting Company.
Operator?
Just a moment, I'll
Music
see.
library? 1 moment.
But my daughter has the most marvelous voice. She can sing high C. High C, dear. No, not here.
Madam, I told you that auditions are Wednesdays and Fridays only, and never in the lobby.
Very well. I shall take Irma to the Excelsior Broadcasting Company.
Assure you, madam, that is our law. Auditions Wednesdays and Fridays only.
We are not here for an ordinary audition. We wish to speak to Mr. Pirelli.
Senior Pirelli rehearse the 5th floor.
Thank you.
Only you can't see him. No one is allowed in the rehearsal room except staff and sponsors.
Oh, but this is urgent. We've come a long way.
Sorry, sir, but we don't violate the rules for anyone. And a pass is required for all elevators. And the stairway doors are locked on all landings.
The complete tour of the Northern Broadcasting Company for 40 cents. Get your tickets, folks. See how radio works for only 40 cents. See the world's greatest and newest phenomenon, television.
I think you will be pleased with the orchestra, Signor Pirelli. We've spared no expense in assembling the best men. Have you any orders to give before we start the rehearsal?
Oh, I beg your pardon.
You'll have to speak louder, Mr. Simpson. Antoine is here only in the flesh today. His mind is far, far away.
I asked if you had any orders, sir.
No, none.
This is the Master Control Board. The sounds of any program emanating from this company are mixed in the monitor room of the studio, communicated to this board, and cleared here. The program travels from here by wire to the broadcasting towers, where it is released to the world. And this is the artist corridor with dressing rooms on either side. Here, the great ones of radio and screen relax.
Oh, if Clark Gable should come out, I'd just faint.
Or Carol Lombard.
Shirley Temple for my dough.
a good thing Nancy isn't here.
You better. She'd sock me in the eye.
This way, please.
Do we have to go now? Can't we wait till some of the stars come out?
They rarely come out before sundown. May I present Mr. Mortimer Effington, who will give you a practical demonstration of a few sound effects used in radio broadcasting.
Ladies and gentlemen, most common among sound effects is the opening and closing of a door. Now, this is one effect that is utterly impossible to fake in any manner, shape, or form. Now, when you hear a door opening and closing on a radio program, you can rest assured it is a door. Door opening, door closing. And now the sound effect of soldiers marching. Now, you see, as the soldiers march, we have a little carousel of race so they come in the sound effects to bring all the types of sound we spade it, hazard base. Formerly, we only had 2 rows of pegs, then we added 1 more row, you know, since conscription. Now we have the horse's hoofs. This is a calibrated painted. Now watch the capsule. That's the gallop of the horse when they created horses. Now the milkman early in the morning brings in the milk to celebrate. Horse and praise, your horse, you hear him, he says, open the window where you are, praise the paint. It's a calibrate. And now the most difficult of all sound effects to achieve, the opening and closing of elevator doors.
Oh, that's only a roller skate.
What are the wild waves saying? Storm at sea. Now that effect is achieved by BB shots and a drum head. That's why we search all little boys and make them check their air rifles at the front door. You understand that all sounds are not created manually. You have to go and see the parts of the phonograph records, and we just calibrate the device. Now the airplane zooming and zooming. Must be something wrong with the cat. Now, if you want a battle scene, all you got to do is say the order and put it right in the case of space. It's all the device on the whole of needles and puts all the sound effects today to me. So far into the night. And this little instrument, the champagne cork popping. Why be a cheapskate? Let's throw a party. Now, have I made myself perfectly clear?
Please, I'd like to know how you simulate the sound.
Oh, of course. You see, as we take the little Borsa spade and we go through the sound of the microphone, we don't have any little set of radius. We just carry forward rice, bring in the cat of Boston all the way through sport. This cat phrase with fire and sin has to go through the whole reach, and the sound effects coming back to the Boston in the face.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, we have a television broadcasting camera. In that room is the receiving set. Now, if you would just step in there, we will give you a practical demonstration. If someone, young man,
Yes?
would you like to go home and say that your voice and picture had been broadcast by television?
Boy, that'd be keen.
And step this way.
Do your stuff, Betty.
Well, I don't know what to say, but I'm mighty glad to be here.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Well, I don't see anything.
It's pretty hard to see yourself in television, unless you could be in 2 places at once.
Oh, I had to be twins, wouldn't I?
The announcer will merely say, Mr. McClellan of the famous McClellan Products takes pleasure in presenting Signor Antoine Pirelli and his orchestra. Do you follow me, Mr. Pirelli?
I doubt it.
Oh, yes, I follow. I'm sorry to be so abstracted today.
Well, well, welcome home from River's End.
Weingarten, I'm in luck to have you with me.
It's a great privilege, senor.
Hush Seidel, my dear fellow. It's a long time since we played together.
Not since our fighting days.
That's right. All right, gentlemen. We'll start with the letter B, second movement.
On your left, we have Studio I, where rehearsals are now in progress for the McClellan Symphony Hour. Antoine Pirelli conducting. Here is a room for the relaxation of the personnel of the broadcasting company. Down this way, we have the publicity department, where the stories of the stars are sent out to the press.
What are we playing, Doctor? Cops and robbers?
Listen, Eddie, for the next few minutes, you must do exactly as I say, and not ask any questions. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Let's try it again, gentlemen. This time, just a little lighter on the spiccato. All right? Better be.
You know that, don't you? Sure. Take out your violin.
Where did you learn to play that passage like that, my boy?
My mother taught me, sir.
Your mother? Dr. Christian, who is this boy?
Mary's favorite pupil. The one you were to listen to.
What's your name, son?
Louis Stanley, sir.
That's what he's called in Riversend. But his real name is William Pierce.
William Pierce? You play well, my boy.
Memories die hard, don't they, Antoine?
What do you want me to do, Gladys?
There's only one thing for you to do. I'll do the rest. You know, I might be able and capable of coping with her. But a son, that's too much for me. So I'll bow out.
You're being splendid about this.
No. No, I'm not really, dear. I couldn't marry you and have those memories coming between us. Every time you took me in your arms, I'd know that you were thinking of her.
Gee, Doctor, it's all kind of mixed up.
No, it's been a little mixed up for me, too, but it'll all be straightened out now.
Oh, I don't know. How do you talk to a guy when you've just found out he's your father? What'll I call him?
I wouldn't worry about that. I'd just say, well, just whatever you feel.
I know. I'll just say, how do you do, Father? No, that's too stiff and formal-like. Hello, Daddy. No, that's sappy. Hiya, Dad. See, that sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Hello, son.
Hiya, Pop.
Dr. Christian, hadn't you better take Billy to my hotel and after lunch tomorrow, take him out to the ballpark to see the White Sox play. Would you like that, son?
Boy, that'd be super.
And say, maybe you better get a couple of suits of clothes. Dr. Christian will help you pick them out. And a dinner coat.
Gee, you mean one of those with a hard-boiled shirt?
Sure, if you're going to hang around this Mickey guy, you got to get used to a stuffed shirt.
But, Maestro, please, the rehearsal.
Now, look, Mickey, I'm tired of being a puppet. You've pulled the strings long enough. From now on, I'm going to stand on my own hind legs and cast a shadow. I've got some unfinished business to attend to, but I'll be back in time for the broadcast, and that's all you need to know. How's that, son?
That's telling him, Pop.
Oh, Dr. Christian, take good care of my boy.
I always have.
The McClelland Company presents tonight the first in a series of symphonic broadcasts conducted by Antoine Pirelli. Our guest soloist is a boy violinist making his debut in radio, Antoine Pirelli, Jr. He will play the arrangement of the Brahms Hungarian dances made famous by his proud parent, Antoine Pirelli, Sr.
Billy was a genius. And Johnny, tell your father I can make you a genius too. With a few extra lessons.
Hi, and welcome to the 2016 edition, actually the year, of the Memorial Day Parade here in Middletown, Ohio. It was a great day today. It's really a nice parade day, a lot of sun, a lot of people out. And joining me today is Joe Snyder. He is the chairman of the Middletown Memorial Day Parade Committee. Welcome aboard, Joe. Last year for Independence Day we had Devin with us. Now we have you with us this year. It's always good to have you here.
Yeah, we try.
Add a little comment to whatever we're talking about at the time. And it's great. The sunshine was out. It was like 60, 70 degrees. And we were set up as usual at Central Avenue across from the pawn shop there. What used to be at one time across the street was Reed Klopp's. Now let's take a look back to last year. Same place. I was in the shed inside the door at Reed Klopp's, the old store. And we had a monsoon season here in Middletown. I mean, it rained.
Lots of rain.
Lots of rain and a lot of wind. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, a lot of rain, and we see our honor guard coming. Now let's come back to today's Memorial Day in 2016. And we're starting out, of course, with the honor guard again. And this is the combined honor guard of American Legion Post 218 and the VFW 3809. As they bring their band up from behind, as usual.
Didn't they have the dog last year?
Didn't have the dog last year. I think that's a service dog that he has with him. Looks like a service dog. So you see the Middletown Police was all set up as they march by us here. Great sunshiny day, good weather.
Beautiful day. Wasn't too hot.
Or too cold.
Well, no, it wasn't. We
Last
had cold days too.
Last year it was cold at this time.
With the rain, yes.
Right. And there's the VFW van, it looks like, coming forward. Next one we have is the Grand Marshal. And the first vehicle there, we'll show a picture of the Grand Marshal car in just a minute.
Wayne Gordon.
There we go. We have Charles Sexton, World War II veteran. He's 96 years old. And so Dwayne Gordon is the Master of Ceremonies for the services at Woodside. And here is our soloist coming by.
Both cars were soloists.
Both cars were
we only had one sticker.
Okay, we had Janet Osborne, Chuck Evans, the driver was Ray Lehu. I'll try to pronounce his name right. And we had Rick Gibbs, and the driver was Stephanie Wanamaker. Now, coming behind that was the speaker's car. And Mark Wall, who is a Vietnam veteran, he's the judge also at the Middletown Municipal Court. And the driver of the car is Wayne Hall. Now, the next one we have is the Bishop Fenwick High School Marching Band. I noticed they've changed that over the years. I'm from the old school, it's just Fenwick. And the band is under the direction of Jason Umberg. Let's listen to them for a minute. Get up close and personal with the zoom shot. all the students can have fun watching themselves. Coming up next, we have the mayor and city council. Followed by the DAR. Vice mayor is in that SUV. And we have the Alan Wise, no, it's Alan Wise chief. Steve Conley is the accordionist.
The red car.
We have a lot of people coming through, and sometimes you don't know who they are, but they're in the parade, and that's the important thing, to celebrate Memorial Day and tribute to our armed service personnel. Here is our accordionist.
Yeah.
I got ahead of the game. Before that was Alan Wise in the Jeep. Steve Conley is the accordion player. Coming up next is Mike Gomia from American Legion Post 218. Also we have, let's see, Lulu Kreidenball from Legion 218, who will be president. And we have the auxiliary coming up. Back in there is our Poppy Queen from the post. Columbus, Council 1610. We have the group walking in front as a color guard, and then we have part of them riding in a little carry-on to an SUV in the back.
Some of them's a little too old to walk.
Just can't do that much anymore. You know the feeling.
Yeah, we're all there.
And I'm enjoying every minute of it, I'll tell you. All right, now we got the John the 23rd. That's Scout Pack 85. That's coming up right after our KFC Council 1610. All the guys waving at everybody. Right behind them is the Middletown Police Department Color Guard. They were right on the Scout Pack.
Big SWAT truck.
There you go. That thing is big.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't want to see that at your door.
Don't want to knock on your door either.
Uh-oh.
And then we have Butler County Sheriff's units coming up here on their bicycles, as well as one of their cruisers. And then we have a couple people that's in this black cruiser right back here. Yeah, more of the kids coming up next. We have Girl Scouts and Brownies units. And there goes the Memorial Day Committee and their little Cushman going down the street.
Richard and Brenda.
Richard and Brenda, okay. And we have the Cub Scout troop from Scout Pack 28 in Madison Township. These kids got it made, they could ride in their wagons.
Right.
That young one, that little girl over on that little wagon is kind of cute.
He hit the big chuck hole there and he about dumped him in.
I noticed that.
Pothole in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I noticed that. We did fix that before the parade. Alright, so now, Boy Scout Troop 572 with Dave London and with the truck and trailer. Here come the guys. Boy Scouts coming. I think takes a lot of energy. How far do they have to walk from Smith Park to
2 miles.
2 miles?
2 miles. It's a good little jog.
I bet I wouldn't even try that, but it sounds like it would be good.
That's why I ride a little golf cart.
And you came by once, sir, when you yelled at me as you went through. I remember that. That's obvious we are catching up with the description of the parade after the parade, in fact, so Joe and I can sit down and talk to each other and talk to you folks as well. We have more cars coming. Up next is the Middletown Rotary Club. And the Kiwanis Club is behind the yellow car we just see go by on camera. A lot of good-looking cars this year in that parade.
And that's yellow.
That's a real yellow car. That's a bright yellow.
The yellow car.
There's one in the Pacers car that's like got mob windows, and we'll see that a little bit later. And here we go with the drill team and drum corps from, it's coming up here in just a minute. There we go. It's there from the Robert Sunny Hill Community Center. Kids always look like they had a lot of fun.
Got more energy than I do.
You ought to can that energy and sell it. They would like that. These kids having fun, it looks like. And this year we want to mention that the video is being presented in HD 4K, which is top high definition. It's available today. Next we got the Rainbow Girls Middletown Assembly number 68. Coming up next, I think they're in the truck. Yes, they are.
There's the big POW truck.
There you go. And bringing up behind that is the
Fairlane.
Ford Fairlane just hit the chug hole. Yeah. But that's okay. I watched the kids and the adults, they all sidestepped it all the way through.
Yeah.
Here's our Middletown.
Yeah, you twist an ankle, you hit that.
Real quick like. And here's Middletown High School Senior Marching Band. Under the direction of David Leistine? Leiston, thank you. They're coaching off stage. Usually I try to pronounce all names right.
That's hard to do sometimes.
And the next thing is to spell names right, especially if you're in the printed media. And I had times I would do videos and I would misspell a name and I just tear my heart up later when I realized after all the production was done. Then you go back and correct it, of course. Here comes our young ladies, bringing up the back of the pack. Of course, we got their truck and trailer following right behind. And then,
Almost all their music equipment.
there you go. We have the Butler County Democratic Party and the yellow Fiat. Small and the silver SUV as well. And then behind that is the Midpoint Library System van. I didn't see their mascot this year. Last year he was riding right out in the open.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Didn't ride this year. Last year he went right by me from left to right and I got a nice picture of him. him or her, I don't know which it was. Now we have State. Cincinnati State now has taken up quite a bit of downtown, the old CG&E building. They've taken over the old First National Bank building. And I think they got a building next to that downtown also.
Yeah, they're expanding a lot.
It's good to have a good campus. We have a good campus, Miami University, but this is our downtown campus.
Right.
And of course, there's our police car. Then we have Faith Fellowship Churches next. And we have called the Key Movement Group. It's the 7 girls there. I know everybody's driving over the pothole. Then we got the 456 Elks drill team and drum line, if I can say that. Young ladies having fun, waving as they go by. Miss Teen, Miss Midwest, and that's Madison Summer. A little heavy game earlier. This is the drill team coming up, but that do happen.
Oh yes.
And interesting, we want to point out, because when you start to pray, you have everything lined out on a sheet of paper.
And it don't work out that way.
That's what I thought. You get what you get time you start pulling everybody together and all that type of thing.
Once they start coming in a lot of people at one time, you can't control it. I mean, it's just mass chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't back them up, so they're there.
I know Deb was going to just make sure everything in the right order, and I missed a couple of them, but if we can see the video, here's our Bulls Run, the Arboretum, which was the old fresh air camp. Remember that as a kid? Mm-hmm. You'd go out there in the summer if the kids had respiratory problems and different things like that. They would go out there. And then behind that is Unity Baptist Church. With a little pool trailer.
Yep. Tow truck behind.
Tow truck behind. In case anybody breaks down. Here comes your gang again.
Yep.
Nice little close up of those in thing. Now next is our Madison High School marching Mohawks.
Good sized band this year.
Sure did. And I noticed when the bands, like what they're doing, Madison did like Middletown, they have people walking in front, walking backwards of each line, directing that particular line. And to walk backwards for 2 miles,
wow.
It's rough.
Yeah, it wouldn't work for her there, I am.
There's well, you're not on the hover, but you're in the Cushman. And we got Junior too, on top of that. And there's our instruments and so forth. Next is our Pacemakers Car Club. I like the name they give that. They mean they have pacemakers all in their hearts. This group has a wonderful collection of cars.
They got a big club. That's a large car club.
They got more cars out this year, I think, you did last year.
No, man, they sure had a lot of them last year.
Yeah. And I know for Memorial Day, everybody cut down a few things. We can just sit and enjoy all the antique, classic cars as they go through.
With all their little horns blowing.
And the one just always blows me away, the one that has that weird sound.
The Ooga horn?
The Ooga horn, yeah. But these cars look good. I mean, they keep them in good condition.
Nice Nomad.
Yeah. This is the one, the next one is the one that has the Google horn on it. I forget which it is. Which one it is. Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Looks pretty good though. It's good. And of course Herbie's love bugs.
Yeah, he's always in there. Herbie's always in there. Yeah, Herbie would fall in.
Yeah. That guy keeps that VW in good shape, it looks like.
People nowadays probably wouldn't know what Herbie meant. We're talking about.
He'd have to be at least the 48 in the 40s.
At least 40s.
No, that was a Disney film. One of the early Disney films.
Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah. Here comes his mob car, the yellow one, the third one down. I call it the mob car, but I'm probably wrong, but it looks like a mob car anyway.
It's like a Mercury.
It is a burgundy color?
Yeah.
It's
The old Bonnie and Clyde gangster car.
There you go. That's the one that just blows me away. I don't know how you can drive. You can't hardly see out the windows. More of the classic and antique cars coming.
Looks like Pearson Chevrolet.
Right. You got a couple of vehicles. The next two, I think, are theirs as well. Right on.
Old 25.
Old 25 out by 75.
Dixie Highway.
There you go. And one of the older cars there too. Now we have the Jeep Club coming up. And you'll see here. I think it's the next one. Yep, that's it.
And he stops to pay his respects to an older serviceman.
I was watching, I'm going, what's going on? Then I heard a little applause, so I decided, let's go to the right and see what's going on. The gentleman stopped is Vic Pears.
Paid his respects.
Paid his respects to the retired military. He's retired military also. That's a big Jeep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to ask him what kind of gas mileage he got on them.
Well, I'm sure it's not very good.
Right. We have more Jeeps coming. About time to hear sirens out here because we got sirens coming up at the end of the video. It's kind of a nice afternoon. We're just sitting outside enjoying the sun and the cool temperatures.
The sun's kind of going down a little bit.
Right. We have a total of 12 Jeeps altogether in the parade this year. And when Vic stopped, he went over and saluted. He shook the hand of that other serviceman and saluted him and went back and got his Jeep. That was cool. And behind the Jeeps comes the Skateway Roller Rink, Linda Rawls' company. And she's got her gang out there. We'll see them just a sec as they come out. We got the Kangaroo, and that is Michael Crawl. And the guy with the loud color shirt and pants, that's Justin Southern. And he's going to do a little break dancing for us here in a minute. Michael's got more guts than I have to try to do a flip, especially in a costume and on skates.
I don't see how he stands the heat in that outfit.
Because it was warm enough with that outfit on to be out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's having fun.
Yeah, I just broke my ankle right there.
There you go. And we have more characters. We have the one with the, looks like a bird. Very reserved, very quiet.
Kind of a bird.
Yeah. And going up behind that is our Mount Pleasant Retirement Village bus. And we're almost at the end of the parade this time.
Just about it.
We've got the fire trucks coming up. We had 3 from Madison Township, and one. The last one is the one from Middletown Fire Department. And the sirens always wake you up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Madison made a good show this year.
Very good show. And then last year they were riding in the top wing. Let's see that this year.
Imagine polishing all that chrome.
That's a job just to clean them fire trucks up, man.
And I think they do that after every run. That's what they do on their off times. Wax, polish, clean windows.
Make it all look good. Well, when you get back, I think a lot of times they're on 24 and off or something like that. Of course, bringing up the rear, the last part, are the horses. Which is kind of cool. Independence Day, we had one horse.
Yeah, and
one
always
horse.
following up the horses as your little street cleaner.
There you go.
Wouldn't know why.
I don't understand why either. But it's been interesting this year to do this parade as usual. With me is Joe Snyder to help me out. Had a brain pause there for a second.
Oh, that's all right.
But you know, it's been an interesting year with the parade and all the different things we're doing. You know, I want to thank Deb Morrison also for helping out, helping us get everything lined out, script-wise, who's there. And I follow the script pretty good most of the time.
For sure.
This is TV. You ad-lib your way around and put your foot in your mouth every so often.
That's what makes good TV.
There you go. So we've had fun doing this. You'll see the credits at the end as we roll the credits and get everybody's name in. We want to thank you all for joining us for the Memorial Day Parade 2016. Our plans to be back in July for the 4th of July Independence Day Parade. And we never know what's going to happen.
That'll be on the 2nd this year,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday we'll have the parade this year.
On Saturday the 2nd.
Thank you for, because the 4th is on Monday and that's 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So we have it on Saturday this year, which will be good.
And
We'll
starting
be down.
out the Middletown big, I don't know what they're calling it.
Bash.
Big Middletown bash. I
The
guess.
bash, yeah. So that'd be good. This year now, of course, with the 4th of July parade, you start it down by Woodside Cemetery, you block off the street, and you move to Smith Park.
Right.
And we go the reverse direction. So we're looking forward to that. I want to thank you. I want to thank Deb. I want to thank your organization for helping us put this thing on, because we were it this year. We're the only ones showing the video, and as you see it on YouTube, we hope you enjoy it. If you like it, let us know. Drop a line to YouTube or on Facebook. You'll find Joe or you'll find Deb. Drop a comment to them if you like to parade, anything you'd like to tell us about. Until next time, hey, we've had a great time this year. Of course, we're sitting down. This is way past Memorial Day, in a chair enjoying ourselves. Instead of sitting out, I was sitting on a ladder.
Yeah.
Short ladder with the camera, trying to get all the pictures in. But we thank you all for joining us. And, as I always say, we'll see you for the next event. Have a great day.